next example is slightly more complex. We have x to the power of x square root of x equals to, and in brackets, x square root x to the power of x. First up, let us remove the square roots on both sides. So on the left, it will be x to the power of x times x to the power of 1/2. And on the right hand side, we would have x times x to the power of 1/2, and in brackets, and then outside of the bracket to the power of x. Now notice I'm not going to do anything on the left. I'm simply going to keep it as it is. So it's x to the power of x times x to the power of 1/2. And that is equal to, and on the right hand side, I will add up these exponents. So it will be x to the power of 1/2, or I could say 3/2. And outside of the bracket I have the exponent of x. Now if I want to remove the brackets, it will be x to the power of 3/2x. And on the left I have x to the power of x times x to the power of 1/2. And now that the bases are the same, I can throw the bases away. So I have x times x to the power of 1/2 is equals to 1/2x. Now I can rewrite that in standard form. So it will be x times x to the power of 1/2 minus 1/2x. And I can see that I have a common factor of x. So I would factorize by taking out x. And in the first term, I have x to the power of 1/2. And in the second term, 1/2. Now from here, I can solve x. It is x equal to 0, or x to the power of 1/2 equal to 3/2. But we need to be careful. In this case, x cannot be equal to 0, because if I make x equal to 0, I will have 0 to the power of 0. And 0 to the power of 0 is not defined. So therefore, x cannot be equal to 0. But this equation I can solve by simply squaring on both sides. So that will become x is equals to 9/4. Because we have 3 squared, which is 9, and 2 squared, which is 4. In our next example, we have 5x to the power of 1/2 minus 11x to the power of 1/4 plus 2 equal to 0. Now you are welcome to use the K method again, as we have done in the second example, or we can simply factorize if you can recognize that this is a trinomial. So this can be written as 5x to the power of 2/4 minus 11x to the power of 1/4 plus 2 equal to 0. And now if I factorize, I have 5x to the power of 1/4 and x to the power of 1/4. Because these are 2/4 and I can split them up. And in order to create the middle term of minus 11, I'll have -2 in the right bracket and -1 in the left bracket. Now in order to solve x, I have 5x to the power of 1/4 minus 1 equal to 0, or x to the power of 1/4 minus 2 equal to 0. That becomes x to the power of a quarter equals to 1/5, or x to the power of a quarter equals to 2. And in order to get rid of the quarter, I raise both sides by the power of 4. So this becomes x is equals to 1 to the power of 4 is 1, and 5 to the power of 4 is 625. Or, on the right-hand side, I do the same by raising it to the power of 4. So that becomes x is equal to 16.